Hey guys, in this video we're making a triple strand knotted bracelet with gemstone beads. This is a really simple design with 3 strands, so we've got 3 different types of gemstones and they're loosely knotted to give it quite a cool effect. For our design today we're using 0.8mm polyester cotton thread, and we need one 90cm length and one 45cm length. So we just measure and cut both of those lengths. The longer one is going to be sort of folded over like this one here, and then there's the shorter one as well. So we end up with our 3 strands in total, but one of them is folded in the center. Now the first thing we do is sort of make the end of our bracelet that goes in the clasp. So you can use a button or a bead for this part here. I'm just going to use one of our beads. So placing one bead onto the longer thread, and we're going to pull it down to the middle. Placing the ends of our cords together, pulling that bead down into the center. Now we're going to add this third cord in, so placing it next to the other cords so that the end of the cord sits up near the bead here. Now tying a simple overhand knot, so bringing the cords around to form a loop, bringing the ends through the loop and pulling that knot down tight about 1 centimetre away from the bead. Just making sure that all 3 threads are coming through the knot there. Pulling that knot down nice and tight. I like to pull on each cord as well, just to make sure that each thread is pulled through the knot really nice and secure. Once you're happy with your knot and it's nice and tight, then I just cut this little tail off. Just cutting it there, leaving 1 or 2 millimeters. And then with our lighter, gently holding the other cords out of the way and just melting the end of that cord there and tapping it on to fuse it onto the knot. Now we can start the beading part of our design. So it's super simple. We've got 3 cords here. We're going to place one type of bead onto each cord. All my gemstone beads are 6mm beads. So I'm using Amazonite for that bluey green one there. This dark one here is smoky quartz. If you do have any problems threading your beads on, you can cut the ends on an angle. Sometimes I find just melting the ends a little bit and pinching it can make them easier to thread as well. Now onto our third cord. This light purple is a beautiful lavender amethyst. Now once you've got your 3 beads on, one on each thread, we're going to hold tension onto our clasp at the end, making sure they're all the same tightness, and then we're going to tie a simple overhand knot and pull it down onto the 1 inch mark, so 1 inch between each knot to the next knot. So bringing those cords around to form a loop, bringing the ends through the loop, and then gently pulling that knot down tight onto that 1 inch mark. I give each thread a pull as well, just to make sure that each thread is nice and tight through that knot. You can always untie and retie these knots if they happen to be in the wrong position. But if you're happy with each one as you go, then we just go ahead and place one bead onto each strand and then tie another knot 1 inch away from the previous knot. You could really mix this design up as well by placing different size beads or seed beads or more than one bead in between each knot as well. Birthstones would be cool as well, but it's really easy to custom make it however you like. Once your beads are on, we're going to hold the tension on that far left button or bead for your clasp, and then bring the cords around to form a loop, bringing the ends through the loop. Now we're going to gently work this knot down tight onto that 1 inch mark. So 1 inch from knot to knot. Pulling each cord nice and tight, and then just repeating these same stitches until we get to our desired length for our bracelet. So I want my bracelet to be about 20 centimeters in total. So that means I go to just under that, and then we can put a little clasp on as well. Okay, so I've beaded down right from my bead on one end to this last knot is about 19 centimeters. So now for a simple clasp, we take just 2 of our threads and tie another simple overhand knot. Bringing those cords around to form a loop, bringing the ends through the loop. Now we're going to pull this knot down tight, about 1 centimeter away from the original knot. So we want it to be just big enough to fit your button or bead through, so you can test it out and see. Might be a little bit different for your size bead or button. We want it to just be able to pop through in between the 2 knots and sort of hold it secure, so you don't want it too loose. Once you're happy with it, make sure those knots are nice and tight. You can try it on for size if you need as well. And then cut these ends off and this other thread as well, just outside the knots, and singe with the lighter, gently melting the ends and fusing them in place. So there's your triple strand knotted beaded bracelet.